Now I see.
Yeah, baby. Episode 2, The Shores of Hell. The Snores of Hell. The start, you can see the wonderful inverted cross that, you know, makes all the mothers afraid of this game.
Time to get mad.
Yeah, there is, you know, the first episode has a lot of obviously demonic imagery, but here we get straight into it. There's some satanic shit right there.
Praise Satan.
Hell yeah.
Skies are red.
Yeah.
Red with blood.
There's lots of blood in this episode.
The monsters are fighting.
Yeah, there's some fighting. I'm missing my shots. There's pools of blood. It's a good game.
Damn right. Did the pools of blood hurt you?
Yeah. In this level they do. It's inconsistent. Sometimes they don't, and sometimes they do. Pretty much in all of Doom 1, if there's pools of blood, it's gonna hurt you.
Okay.
That rule kind of gets broken in Doom 2 a little bit, and it gets even more broken in, you know, fan wads and stuff. Okay. Oh, there's a Kako demon. Yay.
Can we talk about what an unfortunate name Wad is?
Wad is intentional. It's a wad of data, and more importantly, it's a backronym that stands for Where's All the Data? And all the data's in the wad.
Okay.
It was just, you know, what do you pick for a 3-letter suffix, right, for your files? And they went with WAD because it was, I don't know, funny.
Oh, shit. Teleport tactics.
Yeah. Teleporting, there's pinkies, there's secret. Wonderful green marble texture that I love.
God, I hate the sound of pinky demons. Very little, like, frightened me in Doom as a child, but that fucking sound sure did.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't...
There's
Go on.
I don't know if you're in the level yet. You may have already done it, but there's that level where it's like ultra claustrophobia, and there's a bunch of invisible pinky demons in the maze.
Maybe. There's definitely one super ultra claustrophobic level that's still coming up, but... It's possible that I've done that one. I do think I know what you're talking about. If I'm thinking of the one you're thinking of, then we haven't done it yet. It'll be in episode 3. It's like the first level. It's like a really ultra narrow maze. Like you literally can't move left or right. It's not even really a maze. It's just like a hallway, and it's like, yeah, it's just filled with pinkies. And it's really dark.
Hate it. Wouldn't want to date it.
You know what's funny is you talk about pinkies being the thing that scared you. When we get to it, we'll get to the Lost Souls. I think the Lost Souls were the things that scared me the most as a kid from this game. Not that I found this game particularly frightening, it's just that, you know, they're big, mean, flying skulls. I don't remember why. I feel like the first nightmare that I can remember had a Lost Soul in it. But I don't know if that's actually true. I love Lost Souls now. They look like the design you would find on the back of a biker jacket.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
The flaming skulls, yeah.
Those aren't scary at all to be.
They're not really scary at all. I don't find pinkies scary at all. I think they're just kind of... They're kind of cute. They're kind of silly.
Nah, but when you're stuck in a corridor with them and they're just running at you, mindless, one purpose.
That is fair.
The game changes. In a room like this, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the wonderful cardboard box maze that is very memorable. This is a level designed first by Tom Hall, and then after he left it was finished by Sandy Peterson. Which is interesting because you can kind of feel their distinct styles in this level both happening at the same time. Tom Hall, I don't know much about the story. I really need to do my research. I need to do my history dives, but I'm just too lazy to do that. But Tom Hall basically left because he was like, really unhappy with the way he was being treated at id Software. And like he was a guy that was basically like, he was sort of an ideas guy, and people would come to him and they would be like, okay, Tom, like we need, we're making this game Doom and we have this concept. And they were like, okay, so Tom writes up a bunch of stuff, and then they start working on the game, and they end up throwing out a lot of the stuff that he wrote because it didn't fit with the game that they actually ended up making. And I feel like stuff like that is ultimately what sort of led to his upsetteries. But he did do some work on the game that still ended up here, even though I don't think he was working at id Software at the time that the game actually released.
Upsetty spaghetti.
Yeah, he got very upsetty spaghetti. He and like John Romero are pretty friendly now again, and like it's all water under the bridge. So, but Tom Hall's frustrations are understandable. But this was sort of, when I talk about the cardboard box maze and that being sort of a Tom Hall style, he was very into more of a realistic space kind of idea. It was like, John Romero's level design is very abstract, and Sandy Peterson's is very like Cthulhu inspired, so it's abstract by nature. But Tom Hall was very much like, if this is a military base, what would it look like? What kind of things would you put in it? Just certainly they would have a storage room filled with boxes, that sort of thing. That's at least the impression I get, because there's a few other Tom Hall levels. I think there's might be one other one in this episode, and then there's a few that got used for Doom 2 that got touched up by Sandy Peterson that definitely have that feel to them. They're not as abstract as some of the other levels, They're a little more grounded.
Right. What else has Tom Hall worked on?
Oh, fuck. I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say that when he left id Software, he started working at it was some other company. I don't remember if it was like Ion Storm. I feel like, or I don't know. He worked on some other video games. I don't know that he's worked on anything. Nothing of note comes out. I'll have to look it up again.
Just because since he's so practical, and we just saw a room full of boxes, I was just getting like Half-Life vibes. So I was curious to see if
he
had worked on that.
I don't think he ever worked for Valve, but definitely the inspiration is there. Probably people. I don't know if any of his friends worked at Valve or if he had particular influence over it, but I see what you mean. It totally has that vibe. I also like episode 2 of Doom a lot, although I agree with people. This tends to be one of the ones that people dislike the most, and I understand why people dislike it. I kind of agree to some degree, but I just like the way that it looks, if I'm being honest. There's a lot of... I like the 50-50 mix of tech base and hell stuff. I think it looks really cool when it's mixed together.
I'm not really a fan of how factory it looks. Like abstract evil factory. Like, I guess that's just like I mean, obviously it's a personal preference, but I don't know. Level structures that have like mazes like this just like fill me with anxiety. And not the kind that make me happy. It's just like, oh god, like this level's gonna take me 5 fucking hours.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in this episode. In fact, there's some worse examples coming up. There's a level that took me about 15 minutes to get through because it was just a mess. I agree. I'm not a huge fan of large level design, especially in Doom specifically. I find it kind of frustrating, especially when it's all like maze-like, or when you're keycard hunting, it just ends up not being very fun.
Right.
But aesthetically, I really like the mixture, and part of what I like about it is lore-wise, right now we're on the Deimos base, but Deimos got disappeared into the hell dimension, so it's being like hell-ified over, but we're still on like a tech base, like a UAC facility. So I like that vibe a lot. That to me is very Doom. of the good mix.
It's very Aliens.
Very Aliens. It's very Hellraiser-esque. Like when the Cenobites. Well, I mean, the Hell of Doom is a lot more flashy than the Cenobite Hell, but I just mean I like when. It reminds me of the sequence in Hellraiser 2 when like the Cenobites come in and like you have to go into their world. I guess that happens in the first one as well, but whatever. It's just I like the reality switching aspect of it. It's very cool.
It looks great.
It looks great.
Keep waiting for you to get out the super shotgun, and I remember which game this is.
Yeah, it's not Doom 2 yet, unfortunately. Super shotgun's amazing. It makes dealing with, pinkies and lost souls so much easier because you can just kill them with one shot, but not there yet.
To return to what we were saying earlier, the first nightmare I ever had, I didn't actually have. I just lied about it. Just to make people think I was cool. I don't know how old I was. I was like 4 or something.
That's pretty cool.
I told them I was fighting a skeleton.
That's pretty rad.
And none of it happened. I just imagined all of it. But I just told people that.
Yeah.
It would make for a great story. People would think, adults would think there's meaning there or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nope.
It's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
I seen it on TV and then I lied about
it. Maybe I did see it on TV.
I mean, where else would you get that idea?
Right?
When you're that young, it's got to come from somewhere. Even if it is intentionally a lie. Yeah, the first nightmare I had was not... I didn't lie about, but I do... I don't remember if there was actually a lost soul in it or not. I remember the dream very distinctly because it was like a monochrome, like black and white house, and then outside was like the red sky texture from Doom.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, fuck that, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. In retrospect, it was really cool. As a child, it was very scary.
Yeah, I think the first dream that I actually had that was a nightmare. I don't really know how to explain it because nothing really happened, but there was just like this guy who kind of looked like a Cenobite, just like sitting at a table looking at me.
That's pretty
cool. That was it. Like, in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's
but
pretty
back
frightening.
then, it was the worst. Yeah. That was one of those dreams where you have to sleep in your parents' bed when you
yeah,
when you wake up from it. You're just like, no, fuck all that.
Yeah, that's pretty. There's that. I don't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but yeah, there's that phobia that people have of people staring at them. And that's definitely something that has come up in my nightmares. It's not something that I care about in my waking life. It doesn't bother me, but it's like a recurring element in some of my nightmares. Yeah, probably has something to do with, I don't know, some Freudian explanation for it.
A few years ago, I was reading up on dreams because, like, somewhere I read you can't see yourself in reflections in dreams, which is weird. Because right after I read that, I had like a spike in dreams where I was looking in mirrors.
Yeah.
And debatably, I could see myself, but most of the time, like, my mind erases my face when I look at a mirror.
I'm not that way at all. I can totally see my face in mirrors and dreams.
That's wild.
Sometimes I've had dreams where the reflection of me isn't me. And sometimes I've had dreams where the reflection of me is me, but it's an independent person from the me that I am. Like, I had this one dream probably like 4 years ago, maybe even longer, I don't remember, where like there was like an evil mirror me that was trying to get out. And it was like, I could see myself on the reflection of a television screen. And my reflection was like banging on the screen trying to get out. It's fucked up. Oh
shit, that is fucked up. That's like Heroes or something.
It was awesome. It was scary as fuck at the time. I mean, it wasn't scary. It was just like in the dream it was frightening. And then it was like, when I woke up, I'm like, well, that was fucked up. Yeah, that was a weird dream.
So anyway, we're playing Doom.
So anyways, we're playing Doom. I hear that I missed a secret, which is just a fucking shame. I hear that people hate it when they have to listen to people talk about dreams. I don't know if that's true. I don't particularly care, but we're definitely not talking about Doom, that's for sure. But what is there to say?
When I had a nonfiction professor who was a lot like that, and to some degree I agree with him, just because dreams are kind of unwieldy. Like if you're not using them carefully as a narrative device, then it's a little off. But if you're just like someone just like, I don't know what I'm going to write it about today, guess I'll turn a dream into a poem or some prose, usually it goes nowhere. It's just abstractions.
Well, yeah, that I can agree with. Like using a dream for like, I don't know, some sort of narrative function, because dreams are often very non-narrative focused. Feels like they have a narrative when you're having them, but they're usually just like random bullshit. It's usually more emotional than it is narrative. Like there's no structure to most dreams. At least in my case, I don't know. Everybody's different.
Yeah, I really have no narrative structure either. It's just set piece to set piece to set piece.
Yeah, like a Michael Bay film.
Yes.
Except not as racist.
Except not as racist and not nearly as many explosions or hot chicks.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I just said hot chicks on a YouTube video in 2022. Great.
What's wrong with hot chicks? It's a hot chick summer, don't you know?
It's a hot chick summer.
Yeah. The wonderful time we're here talking about nothing. Like, yeah, I mean, I said this a little bit in the other Ultimate Doom. It's like, I don't know, what is there to say about? I mean, I could talk about the level design, I guess. I just don't know that would be interesting, or like, it would be interesting. I just don't know that you would care.
Well, I mean, our listeners would care.
Yeah, but this is a cooperative experience that we're having. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave you bored.
Oh, I mean, it wouldn't leave me bored if you talked about level design.
That's fair.
You've talked about level design before, and it's been interesting.
Yeah, that's true. So, oh god, but what do I even say? Like, I feel like episode 2 of Doom in particular, since so many of the levels of episode 2 and 3 were designed by Sandy Peterson, and I appreciate his like aesthetic sentiment. I can't say that word. Sentimentalities.
Sentiment?
Yeah, sentiment. Whatever. But I feel like his level design and his puzzle design leaves a lot to be desired. Like, I guess this is kind of late, but in the last level, there's this whole part where you get the blue key so that you can open a door, and inside the room is the red key, and it's like, why? What's the point of that? Like a key to get a key? It just feels like it just doesn't feel right. It just feels like sloppy. And I mean, maybe there was a time pressure element where he wasn't really able to like. He just played through it to make sure that it was fun, and he didn't really care about if it made sense. But I sort of have that problem with Sandy Peterson's level design, and he does, frankly, like he's done most of Doom. He does most of Doom 1, and he's done most of Doom 2. So it's like a lot of the game is that, but
you know,
go on.
Those Call of Cthulhu people are just like, you know what, this will trip them up, and then they don't think twice about it.
2 keys.
That's bro.
That's crazy.
Fucking wild.
Oh my god, this texture is moving. That's crazy.
Put it in a lot.
Like, but one of the things that I find very interesting about Doom as a game is that Sandy Peterson's level design is very distinct, and so is John Romero's, and to an extent, so is Tom Hall, and American McGee. And like, as people go in and out of it, like, you can kind of feel their signature on some of these levels. And part of what I find interesting about that is just that Doom is such a sandbox design of a game. It has like all the existing moving parts that, to be a designer for it, you're really like putting your own sensibilities into the sandbox, right? Like, from a design point of view, this game is like very neutral, I think. Like, it's not super, like, there's the verbs and the way that you play the game is obviously set up a certain way, but it doesn't feel like, I don't know if this makes sense, but it just feels like it isn't elements of the game design that dictate the level design. It's the other way around. Like, the game is very, like, if you take a game like Halo, where you have like regenerating shields and stuff, like, there's so many things about the way that the game works that dictates how the levels have to be designed to accommodate that. And I mean, technically that's true of all games, including Doom. But the way that Doom is designed means that it's like the level designers, it's the level designer's responsibility to make sure that the resources are in the game for the player. Like, a lot of the responsibility to a fun level comes down to the level designer and not to other aspects of game design. Right?
Right.
Which is interesting. Like, you know, obviously the shotgun in this, all the guns in this game feel great, and they all feel like they have different good usefulness against certain different monsters, but again, it's up to the level designer to put those guns or those monsters in the level at all. There's not like a lot of elements of the game design that exist outside of the levels. Like, so when somebody makes a level, you really feel their perspective on it, which I find super interesting.
Yeah.
Just happens that Sandy Peterson does most of them, and I have mixed feelings on his level design. Some of his levels are really good, and some of them are just like whatever. Most of them are just like whatever.
Yeah, walking around in someone else's dreamscape is a bit much sometimes.
Absolutely, especially when it's so Doom.
But that was such, yeah, not only was that so Doom, but following Doom, that was such a staple of the 90s.
Yeah, that's fair. So
many like 90s I don't know what to call them. Oh shit. But they weren't quite RPGs, and they weren't quite point and click adventures, but they tended to use actors in them.
Oh, like FMV games, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking of, is FMV games. The most prominent one that comes to mind is Phantasmagoria.
Absolutely, yeah. There is it was also, I mean, we talked about Satanic Panic last time. That was more of a late 80s, early 90s thing, and then the mid 90s was very, like, there was this whole, like, David Lynch, like, Twin Peaks, like, wasn't necessarily the hottest thing, but I feel like a lot of people that were creating stuff really had a lot of admiration for what David Lynch and other creators like that were doing at the time. And so that was like a lot of inspiration for, like, because when I look at Phantasmagoria, I mean, obviously there's some very mild Satanic Panic in there, but it's way more just like fucking Twin Peaksy than it is anything else, you know?
Yeah, it's so much more slapstick. Like, the gore gets cranked up to like unbelievable levels where it's just like pure slasher at that point.
Oh yeah, but I mean that was the yeah, that's the difference in influence. Like,
it was post Satanic Panic, where all the Satan stuff went into overdrive, thanks to things like Doom. They're just like, oh, this scares your mom? Well, we know your kids will love it then.
Well, yeah, that certainly had its own element of just like turning stuff up to the next levels of extreme,
right?
Just for no good reason. Yeah, there were plenty of like, I think Blood is a good example of a shooter that sort of went into the next level, so to speak, of like really focusing on the gore effects and really focusing on like I mean, it was still very slapstick in nature, but it was still more like I don't know the phrase to use, but like stuff like the voodoo doll in that game and like Molotov cocktails and stabbing guys with a pitchfork. Very it's just more violent. I don't know how else to put it. Like Doom obviously is a very violent game, but outside of the chainsaw, most of the things that you're doing are shooting guys with really fake looking guns. And it isn't so much about the violence, which I find very interesting. Like this game is very violent, but it's not about the violence in my mind. Like it doesn't revel in it as much as there is a lot of well, okay, that's not entirely true, but the way in which it revels in violence is way different. Because like when you look at a room like this that has a bunch of dead bodies on the floor, it's way more for like storytelling than it is for reveling.
Right.
It's like, oh my god, what happened here? Like, there's dead guys. That's so fucked up. As opposed to...
It could be a warning.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, we will see some hanging bodies in some later levels, and those definitely feel like a step too far, in my eyes, in regards to, like... Well, not a step too far. I mean, I think it's a good illustration of just how evil demons are, but I also think that, you know, I can see... When I look at, like, an inverted cross, that doesn't bother me, and when I look at, like, pinkies exploding, that doesn't bother me. But I can imagine... It doesn't bother me necessarily to see fake hanging corpses in this game, but I can imagine it's more visceral, because it's depicting, like, a dead human, like a dead person.
Right, it's dead like, humans in ways that humans have killed each other with.
Right, and it's also not like... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's also not like dead Doom guys, because Doom Guy has this sort of iconic costume that when you see corpses that are wearing similar outfits, it kind of... there's more of like a comic book kind of tone to it, or more of a like... You know, it's less serious, but when it's like... Right. Just regular people that don't like look a particular way, they're not wearing like military suits, or they're not, you know, when it's just like regular ass people, then yeah, I can see that being far more disturbing. Like even the zombies don't bother me, for instance, even though those are just like supposed to be regular guys, because I mean they're zombies, you know.
They look like meatheads ready to fight.
Exactly.
Sorry to all you meatheads out there.
Sorry to meatheads, but yeah. You're worth killing. I'm just kidding. But now we're talking about this, so it's like very confusing.
Is there any way we could redirect using something else?
Talk about level design again.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have anything to say. I like the textures of this level. I like this wall of faces.
Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome. I forgot about that.
It's horrifying. I like this pool of blood with the blood coming out of the gargoyles' mouths. I like this lowering and raising of bridges. I don't really care for this secret, but it's fine. Like, I mean, just that you have to step on that ledge to raise the second bridge. And also, there's a pit there that you can fall into once that second bridge raises that you can just not get out of. I hate pits that you can't get out of. I missed another secret. I don't know what I missed. I'm not going back for it.
You're in the Jello cake or whatever that was.
So now if we want to talk about level design, we can talk about what I think, personally speaking, is my least favorite Doom level. What is this, E2M4 Command Center? I don't remember exactly what level this is. I think it's E2M4, but I hate this level, I think. It's too big, and design-wise, it just feels like It feels like a big castle, which I guess is kind of cool in theory, but like in practice, it's just like there's just like a lot of shit. There's just like a lot of pointless rooms.
I just want you to repeat it. There's a lot of shit several times.
There's a lot of shit. There's just so much shit. It's just so like...
It's a lot of shit.
It's a lot of shit. I appreciate, again, the aesthetic of this level, and I think that like the castle vibe sort of comes from this like pseudo-symmetrical layout. Like, it's not full symmetry. And also just like, there's just these weird-ass doors. I will say that I like the stonework and I like the woodwork, and that part of the sort of castle aesthetic is cool, but like, otherwise it just... The map itself just... I don't know, man. It's too long.
It's like a Hero Quest era
Yes.
D&D adventure.
Yes, absolutely. This is very much like Hero Quest. This feels like D&D Amateur Hour more than it feels like a good Doom map.
Yeah.
'Cause it feels like somebody had like, oh, I have this like castle, and then we can just like, you know, put it in the game and sort of port it over. Give it sort of a feeling. It's like, okay.
No one know what to put in episode 2.
That's also sort of, yeah, it definitely feels that way of just like, I don't know, just whatever. We have to hit a quota of, you know, there have to be 9 missions in this episode or 9 maps in this episode, so get to work, you know. So there's some good ideas, but there's also just, then you get this one.
There's just vines here, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the vines are cool, and the wood is cool, but...
It doesn't make any sense.
We have this room with heads on spikes, and it's like, alright. Why?
Yeah. Who's the guy who directed, what's it called? Like Green Ruin or Green Inferno or
Green
something?
Inferno. Eli Roth?
Yeah, this feels like an Eli Roth level or something.
Kind of does. You're not wrong. It feels like Cabin Fever. As a Doom level.
Where do you find the pancakes power up?
Honestly, the pancakes kid thing kind of feels like this. So this level has a secret exit to the secret map of this episode, and that one feels like some pancakes kid fucking like nonsense. It's just like so.
No pancakes.
No pancakes. Funnily enough, getting to the secret exit in this level is faster than getting to the normal exit. And I could have completed this level much quicker than I would have, or than I decided to. Because I decided to show the whole level off just for completion's sake.
Right.
Under ordinary circumstances, I would just blast through this straight to the secret exit and fucking ignore 98% of this level, because again, there's just rooms, and it's like there's monsters in the room, and there's a switch in the room, and that leads to the secret exit, so I'm gonna ignore that for now. And then it's like, okay, more rooms, more hallways that are filled with rooms. I just fucking hate it. Some of the rooms are cool.
It's the kind of level that gives me anxiety. It just goes on forever.
Like, these rooms are cool looking. I like the vines. I like the see-through. I like the nukage outside. I think it's, like, cool looking, but all that room exists for is to have a switch in it and some monsters, which, again, comes down to this sort of function over form thing that I feel like I'm a little unfair to people, because I'm always thinking about like the utility of a room, like what's in the room, how does the room feel, how does it flow from one to the next, and this isn't necessarily about that. This is more about exploring. So I can understand why some people might not hate this level, but I don't give a shit. I just want it to end. But I like, again, rooms like this. I like the woodwork. It looks sick.
Actually, these hanging people actually look stupid enough that I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah, these ones are fine. Because it's just like...
This is also very Hellraiser-y.
Dudes cut in half. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really not that bad. It is very... Like I'm saying, it's not like... It doesn't bother me. But I can understand why some people might be bothered by it, because it's more
shit,
like...
do those corpses just get mashed by the door?
Yes.
That's awesome. I never knew that.
Yeah, if someone is dead under a door, they will get squished. And if they die to a crusher, like we saw in the last level, or the crushers that were going up and down, they'll also just get squished by that.
Amazing.
But if they're alive, they don't get squished by doors. Doors only squish if you're dead. And I also don't like the music of this level.
Yeah, dude, fuck this level design.
Right? It's just bland.
Going around.
Yep. It's just
Nothing's
rooms.
happening. You're just in some shitty 12-year-old's Gygaxian dungeon. You just open a door and there's monsters in it. Guess I better shoot these. Oh, I gotta figure out how to connect this bridge.
That's not even that interesting. Yeah, it's just another room across the way. There's no way to get from here to there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If there were a bridge, that would be kind of interesting, right? That would be like a set piece. But no, there's no bridge. It's just, you gotta leave this room and then you gotta go around. Not fun. The only, oh god, I'm taking my time. I get lost because everything looks the fucking same. I'm trying to get that rad suit. I forgot that it was in this little cubby. Because I need to go walk in the muck. So, like, this is... I don't know, maybe the only interesting part. It's like, oh, we're on the outside of that room we were just in. Like, that's kind of cool. And then you go in this weird hallway. I was checking for secrets. I can't remember where everything was. Like, this
feels
is
like a Sonic level.
This is the interesting part. It's like, oh, there's a Baron stuck in a cage. And it's like, why? And that kind of feels like there might be some sort of interesting, you know, like narrative through level design construction. Like, what's that guy doing there? But, I mean, it's not like it matters. Doom isn't a game about stuff mattering, but it is still an interesting idea. That's the only memorable thing of this level, and even then it's like not something I think about regularly. Yeah, it's just gonna keep going.
This feels like a Quake 3 arena now.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a cool, like, looping kind of, and then take the teleporter
back to the beginning.
Yep. Now I get to fucking run all the way back to where I was. Luckily, when all the demons are dead, it's not like it takes very long to get anywhere, but I very stupidly decide to pick up shit, which just makes it take longer. I have to check the map constantly because I don't know where the fuck I am.
Good thing you're not playing on Nightmare or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I would never play this game on Nightmare mode. Respawning enemies is just awful. And it's... I mean, for people that like the stupidity of the challenge, it's good that it's in the game, but I just... For me, that's not fun. I would never do that. Almost done, but... Unfortunately,
appreciate that there's a suit right before the toxic waste.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. Okay, I'm into this hallway.
Oh yeah. So all the I just looked it up the other night and I forgot what it's called already, but all the hell texture stuff like that, I love it. I love all the weird like meat. It's great.
Oh no, more backtracking.
No, this is just across the way. This was the across of the bridge section we were at earlier, where there's no bridge. But we are gonna have to backtrack more though in a second because we're almost at the end of the level, but I have to go to the secret exit instead of the regular exit. It's the regular exit. that I don't go into.
We need to talk about how much I appreciate it when a cacodemon's face explodes and just melts into itself.
And the eyeball pops out and flops onto the floor. Oh yeah, all the death animations in this game are great. Well, no, yeah, I would say all of them. I was gonna make an exception for some of the bosses, but I don't actually think that's true. I think that that's also amazing. Where am I going? Map, help me. Oh, this is the wrong way, but I need health. I guess I could fast forward some of this, but like, maybe I will.
You gotta experience. We gotta make our listeners experience the pain of this level.
That's a good way to put it.
It's so excruciating. Just
Fine.
end.
I
Fucking
Go to
end.
the secret exit. Go up into this hidden wall. All these lost souls really quick.
Was it the last episode that ends with you dying?
Yes. You go to hell and walk into the portal and it stinks of rotten meat.
There's something rotten in Denver.
Why do you have all this rotten meat? It's a secret level. I forget what it's called. I just saw it pop up on the screen. This is kind of a cool level. I mean, it's really short, and I mean, it's a secret level, so it doesn't really
Sewer vibes.
Yeah, but the big, I would say, gimmick that's good about this, there's so many cacodemons, and there's like maybe 4 or 5 barons. There's no like regular enemies, and you could easily waste some ammo, but the best way to do it is to get them to infight. Because cacodemons are pretty tanky, and barons do a lot of damage, so it's usually just a safe idea a good ammo saving technique to just let them fight each other and then clean up the scraps. Fortunately, it does make the level a lot longer to do that, but I mean, I don't know. Fun.
Gotta save your ammo and shit.
Exactly.
Gotta avoid the poop water.
Yeah. I think that's lava. I mean, there is water down there, though.
I don't know. It's not bright enough to be lava to me.
I mean, yeah. It's definitely the lava texture, though, which, to be fair, kind of looks like pizza. Got the yellow cheese and the red tomato sauce, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God. No, I don't. I sure hope you're talking about pizza.
I love to eat lava.
My favorite flavor of pizza is lava.
I mean, you know, Pizza Hut or Domino's or whatever, they got them lava cakes. That's kind of like what we're talking about, right?
Vaguely.
I don't know. And then there's this weird section at the end where you got keys. And all the doors are right next to each other.
Whatever.
It's weird, yeah.
I appreciate the colors, but also,
It's just weird. I mean, it's a secret level, so I give it the Fortress of Mystery. I give it some pass just because it's not like you don't have to play it, you know, and skip past secret levels. Might not even know that it's there if you're playing it your first time. Now, this level is also long, but I appreciate this level. It's also sort of a meandering maze key hunt sort of level, but I don't know. This one I like more. Part of it is just because like stuff actually looks different in this level, but I also feel like just set piece wise, like design wise, there's more going on in this level. Looks a lot nicer.
So what are these
I like the
black
music
boxes?
These are Berserk packs. So Berserk
The hell, there's
packs,
nothing to punch.
Yeah, I know. So the way Berserk packs work in this game is They fill your health to 100%, unless you're over 100%, then it gives you nothing. It doesn't over heal you at all, but it will max out your regular 100% health. And then it turns your screen red, but it doesn't matter. Like, it just gives you a melee damage buff specifically to your fists that lasts for the whole level until you're done with the level, even if the red tint is gone.
Okay.
And it increases your punch damage by 10. It multiplies it by 10. It's a tenfold increase. So Berserk packs are really good. When we were playing the Tom Hall box maze, I was using a lot of Berserk punches because it's a very efficient way to, again, save ammo. One of the criticisms people have of this episode is that there's not a lot of ammo. You run out of ammo quickly, and it's like, you just got to be creative. There's ways to kill demons without needing to use up all your ammo. That's one of the things I appreciate about this episode, even though most of it is kind of bland. I appreciate the creative solutions that you kind of have to go through to play it. I think it's fun. It's one thing that I really like more about Doom 1 than Doom 2 is that Doom 2 has no episode breaks. It's just 32 levels back to back. And one of the things I like about the episode breaks of this game is that they give you a nice soft reset. You get a pistol start every 9 levels or so, and you get to rebuild your arsenal, and you get to have new weapons and new items drop every so often. It feels fun. It feels cool.
Fresh.
Yeah. Wonderful, flashing dark hallways. I don't know.
Is this Event Horizon or something?
Event Horizon came a few years later, which makes sense, because it definitely has some Doom vibes in it. Event Horizon might be the best Doom movie ever made. Certainly better than Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his outing. It's way better than that other one.
And the other one that came after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No one can make a good Doom movie.
No, it's not gonna happen. Which is unfortunate, because it would be really easy. But
they keep fucking it up.
They keep trying too hard, you know? It's like, just make an Event Horizon, but instead of going for straight horror, just do like, you know, Event Horizon meets Evil Dead, and that's just Doom. It just needs to be like a slapstick horror comedy in space.
What else could we want?
That's certainly what I want.
Did they try that with Jason X?
Jason X. I don't know, man. I hate Jason X, but a lot of people that like Jason films like that movie for its sort of satirical nature and deconstruction of the Jason films. I just think it's boring as fuck, personally. It has some good kills in it, a couple, but most of the movie is just too stupid to live. But to be fair, I also feel the same way about Freddy vs. Jason, and people also tend to love that movie that are like big fans of slasher films.
Yeah, I remember seeing a little bit of Freddy vs. Jason and it being really boring and shitty.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that movie. I think Freddy vs. Jason is... I understand why people like it and what they're going for, but man, is it not for me.
It just seemed very bro-y the whole time I was watching it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's also part of my problem is that I generally don't really care for slasher films.
Right.
They have to be like exceptional for me to care. And so to have a deconstruction of the genre that I already don't really care about is not impressive to me because I'm just not invested.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
When does Iron Man's mask melt off, you know? When does it turn into a Lethal Weapon movie? Sorry, I was talking about Iron Man 3 again.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, Iron Man 3 is a great deconstruction. It's actually really not much of a deconstruction. It's just not a traditional comic book film.
At best, it might be a character study, but other than that, it's not a deconstruction.
No, it is. It plays it too straight to be a deconstruction. But I do like that movie quite a bit. It's one of the only movies. I've talked about this before, but I don't think I've talked about it here. But I like. Oh my god, I'm dying of this cacodemon. This is embarrassing. I like in Iron Man 3, there's an aspect to superhero, like the heroism part of being a superhero that a lot of Marvel films fail to touch on, which is like there's that scene where the airplane is going down and Tony Stark has to save all the people on the airplane, and he doesn't have to fight anybody. It's a scene not about punching guys. It's a scene about needing to rescue people. I mean, it starts with him punching guys, but the actual scene is about how he needs to use creative solutions to save an airplane full of people. And, like, that's great.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I don't remember Thor saving anybody, you know?
No, Thor doesn't really save many people except for himself. And other people on accident. Like, by osmosis. Like, in Avengers, you know, they save the day by punching the shit out of a bunch of aliens, which is fair. Those aliens gotta go, but, you know, I think that it's not as exciting as a scene, you know. It's not as character developing as a scene, right? There's not, like, a scene in the first Avengers movie where Captain America needs to, like, save, you know, a bunch of people out of a building.
No, he just has to tell people to evacuate, and that's about it.
And then they just do it, and then the cops do it.
Which is a funny scene, but it's also just there for laughs.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on the Justice League answer for that, which is like, whatever.
It's probably like let everybody die. I haven't seen it yet, but
no, not not the Snyder cut, but just the original, where it's like, have you not seen the original Justice League?
I've seen the original, but I've never seen it.
Because there's that whole part where they have to, like, Superman's like, hang on, I can't fight Steppenwolf, I have to go save people. Which is honestly fair in character for Superman. I just think that scene feels like a pointless addition, because it kind of was an addition. It wasn't like in the original script. That was one of the Joss Whedon additions, which again I think is in character, but I also it feels like an addition. It doesn't feel like it's written into the script, right?
Right.
Like Iron Man 3, Tony Stark saving Tony Stark saving all those people feels like it's in the script. It's part of his story in that. It's part of his journey in that movie is being that person, like trying to find his meaning in life, and part of that is saving people. For Superman, it's just second nature, so like having to see it is also just kind of like, I don't know. Plus, don't you? I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but isn't defeating Steppenwolf probably more of a pressing issue? I mean, I guess he's just such a good guy that he has to save everybody, but like, where was that energy in Metropolis, huh?
Right. That's because
doesn't make any sense.
Justice League was responding to Man of Steel in the worst way possible by just like retconning his character without developing him.
Well, yeah, that's totally my point, is that it's incongruent, which is what makes it, even though it's in character for Superman, the incongruency between stories and having it not be like part of his personality. That's just one of the things I like about Iron Man 3 the most, is that it feels super earned to have that moment in that movie. And it's something that most superhero fiction tends to forget about in the modern era.
Unless it's a Spider-Man movie. Because he's too much of a dork to have to go fight the robots.
Yeah. I mean, Spider-Man, I guess, does save a lot of people, but he also, I mean, those movies, most of the time he's punching guys, you know? It's like, hey, I gotta go punch Doc Ock real quick. Except, again, Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi original. A wonderful scene of him saving a train full of people.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of, like, Spider-Man Homecoming, because he has to save all those people in the elevator. He's got to save that boat that's split in two.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Those are great scenes. Put more of that in fucking movies.
I know. Captain America does none of this shit.
No. Captain America does sweet air combos.
Yeah, he does. He's the Street Fighter Captain America. He's the Marvel versus Capcom Captain America dumped into the MCU.
Which is great, don't get me wrong, but I would love to see him rescue some people sometimes. I mean, the exception, again, is the first Captain America film where before he gets the superpowers, he's standing up for people. And that's great. When
and then the moments he gets... Yeah. And then the moment he gets superpowers, he's chasing fucking cyanide capsule spies in the streets when they jump into their high-tech submarine. And it's like, wow, this is... What the fuck just happened?
Yeah. The movie instantly turns into schlock.
First we're in a blender, now we're here.
Now we're saving lives? What?
Now first we're saving lives, now we're in a blender. What?
Oh, God, what are we talking about?
I don't know how we got on this. We got really off the rails.
We're talking about something. We're talking about Doom movies, and that translated into movies, and I just love talking about Iron Man 3. It's a fucking good movie. I watch plenty of good movies and plenty of bad movies. And superhero fiction, oh my god, I'm dying despairing. It's funny, I think to tie it up in not a bow, but, you know, make it connected, I do think there's a lot of superhero vibes, comic booky kind of vibes to Doom Guy's experience. There's absolutely this, I mean, it's more so in the later games when he turns into a fucking insano killer, but even here there is this sort of, you know, over-the-topness of it all just kind of lends it some sillier, less serious vibes. You can more easily dissociate or detach, like, the actual events from, like, kind of the more how it feels kind of version of events. I don't know if this makes any sense.
It's just easy to digest.
Exactly.
You don't have to worry about it too much.
It feels like, I mean, of course, there's the Doom comic, which is amazing, but in some ways, this does feel like it lends itself to sort of like a horror comic kind of vibe, you know? Like, it's not scary. I mean, maybe horror is the wrong word, but it has, like, you know, there's I don't know, there's a tone that's established here that feels very, what's an example? You know, something like Hellboy, right? Like, there's very, like, there's demonic themes, and so there's, by nature, some sort of horrifying imagery, but the whole thing is just so loosey-goosey that...
Spawn.
Yeah, Spawn's a good one, too. Spawn's a really good one, actually. That's very 90s.
Venom, to a lesser degree.
Yeah. There's an anti-hero aspect. There's like was the 2099 version of Punisher? I mean, you could get some elements from that in here, too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What do you chainsaw a Caco demon? It just turns around like that?
No, I just happened to hit it from the back, so it was stuck in the back-facing position.
Lucky, considering your health rate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, luckily, hitting enemies with the chainsaw or the chain gun, because they have such high rates of fire, they tend to cause a lot of pain chance, which when an enemy enters the pain state, they stop attacking for like however long the pain state lasts. And cacodemons famously have really high pain chance states. So, pain chance. So they will enter pain state really easily, and you can just stun lock them with the chainsaw or the chain gun.
Gotcha.
Yep. There's a lot of going to a game design sort of perspective. There's a lot of that kind of interesting stuff in Doom that, I don't know, by its nature isn't super obvious, but learning it makes playing the game a lot of fun. And again, I think it also works to, like, from a level design perspective, I don't know how cognizant, like, Sandy Peterson was of this. I mean, obviously he was to some degree, but definitely as time has gone on, like, Doom still continues to be a pretty popular game despite its age. And I think part of that is just because, like, again, the sandbox of it is so fresh, and, like, these rules, like, you know, chainsawing all these demons here, part of the reason they can't really hit me is because they're just taking so much damage so quickly that they don't have a chance to get their attacks out. And so the design of this room, you really have to sort of lean into the stairway if you want them to come at you one at a time. And there's all these, like, interesting ways to think about approaching a scenario that I really like about this game. I think it's why it stood the test of time and why people continue to make levels for it and update it over time. It's just very, like, very cool. It's a cool game. I like this game.
Which is the point of this series.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, hey, this game's cool and you want to watch me play it. And, I mean, to be fair with Ultimate Doom, like, it's really hard to talk about. I don't know why. I just feel like, I think part of it, and this is some maybe naivete or something on my part, but, like, this game's been around so long and there's so many people that have talked about it in much more interesting ways than I have, that I feel like by doing, like, a rudimentary version of it, I feel like I'm doing it a disservice. So I just tend to not explain stuff that maybe would be better off explained. I don't know. Because it's like, do I really need to explain how a keycard works? Like, I think it's pretty obvious by this point, even though at the time it was really, like, you know, somewhat, there was some ingenuity behind that kind of design. Now it's just, like, very obvious, you know? And same with, like, hurt floors. Like, it makes sense, right? You stand in toxic waste, you take damage, but, like, that doesn't really need to be explained, I don't think. I don't know.
It's pretty intuitive.
I think it's intuitive now, yeah, because people have played games. I mean, it's intuitive just because standing is something that's green and wavy is a bad idea, but it is just, I don't know. There's an element to my lack of explanation that I feel like, I don't know. This is a game that kind of needs no explanation in some ways.
Not at all.
I think it's very self-evident what's going on.
You have a shotgun and there's a monster.
Yeah,
okay?
Exactly. Very straightforward, very basic, very very id.
God,
quite literally.
Got him.
Yeah, that name choice was very on purpose, because it's very. This is a game that just sort of makes sense. It sort of appeals to, like, instant gratification. But at the same time, level design-wise, it does make you think sometimes. It does make you have to try. I don't know. This is another level that is not my favorite. Most of episode 2 is not my favorite, which is fair. Definitely when I first started getting into Doom, there was an element of me liking episode 2. I'm a huge contrarian, so when I was, like, looking at all the feedback in this game and people not liking episode 2 and 3, my initial response was to be like, well, actually, I think there's a lot here that's worth liking. And that is still true, but as time has gone on and I've replayed this game a lot, it's just, these are less fun levels than the first episode, or I think episode 3 has some better levels than episode 2, and episode 4 is fun for, like, different reasons, because it's really hard. But I don't know.
And there's a big change in music too.
Yeah, it's way less rock and far more exploratory. There's some like that one level that I hate has like a very like a war beat. It's got like these drums that are very like, I don't know. And then this one is the song. This song is called "Waltz of the Demons," which is very accurate. This weird like, it's just a weird song. I mean, it's good, but again, the exploration angle, and it's far less. Like this song isn't not rock, and it's not scary.
I feel like it's trying to be suspenseful, but then
it is sort of, yeah.
When monsters show up, because we're not in an era where the soundtrack can change, it just never actually gets suspenseful.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, I actually do think is... I don't particularly like this song, but I do think that element of it kind of works, because there's a lot of parts in the second episode of Doom where you're backtracking or you're walking around and you're not sure what's around the next corner. And so I kind of like trying to use suspenseful music in that regard. I think that's kind of like a good use of it, but yeah, it just doesn't, like you're saying, there's no dynamic element to it, so it's all that, even when it doesn't need to be.
Wait, why did you get the red key when the exit's right there?
Because I needed to go get a secret with the red key.
Oh,
and
okay.
I got the secret, and I'm leaving. It's the one. Hey, we're almost done. The final level is the Tower of Babel.
Oh shit! Oh, you know it's bad when those guys are all fucked up.
The Barons of Hell, and those are like the toughest enemies we've seen so far. We get an honest-to-God boss fight. It's the Cyber Demon. Shoot him until he dies. Most people would use the rocket launcher, but...
Get real.
Actually, the Cyber Demon is immune to splash damage, so rockets do a lot less damage than you would think to the Cyber Demon. Although, if you do this pistol start, the only gun you get is a rocket launcher, so you kind of have to. But I have the plasma rifle, which does far more DPS, so he's dead already. Thank God. He can kill you in like 2 shots, so I just had to be like really careful there. The hideous Cyber Demon Lord.
You've reached the intestine epilogue.
Yeah. Oh, Doom guy.
It just charges right in.
Well, I don't know if I'll make it out of hell, but I might as well just kill as many demons while I'm here. Very understandable. Get this cool artwork of Deimos floating over the surface of hell.
Deimos looks fucked up.
Yeah, pretty fucked up. Poor Deimos. Anyways, that's why do we have 30 seconds of black screen? Oh, well.
That's our show.
That's the Shores
our
of
show.
Hell. Ultimate.
That's our shores.
Episode. That's our shores. That's our snores of hell. I'm asleep.
That's our snores.